The sniper. We all know him. The sniper? The sniper is a very controversial figure nowadays. There's a lot of people out there that say this class is too strong because he can kill any class from any range instantly. And then there's people that disagree with that, saying that while a sniper could dominate the entire enemy team with instant headshots, it's not actually humanly possible. And therefore, you just have to be more careful around sniper sightlines and position yourself better. And then there's people that disagree with that, and they strike back with a very logical counter-argument. Shut the fuck up, you pathetic, cock-sucking, pimple-faced dweeb! But what matters here is what I think. But seriously, I do not think that playing against Sniper is fun at all. If I get killed by a spy, I'm like, yeah, I should have turned around. I'm a complete and utter idiot. If I get killed by a heavy, I'm like, yeah, he is very fat. If I get killed by a scout, then I'm like, yeah, I have over 20,000 kills in my scattergun, so it doesn't even matter. I'm not offended. But when I get killed by a sniper, it's just like, great! I guess I should just shoot a rocket at him that does 2 damage and then he kills me anyways. And that's the main problem with Sniper. With the other classes in this game, when you fight against them, you actually fight against them. But with the Sniper, the best strategy is to never interact with him and just play around him. And the thing is that it's just impossible to nerf him. I see people all the time proposing nerfs like, make him scope in slower, or make it so that his scope has a laser to see where he's sniping. But these nerfs just do not matter at all, because he's still gonna be the class that sits in the corner of the map clicking on heads. The class that never directly interacts with any other class unless he's absolutely forced to. But anyways, what does any of this actually have to do with the Huntsman, you might be asking? Basically, I feel like the people's opinions on these two weapons have completely switched over the years. Back then, if you were the best sniper of all time, people would have the same reaction as any other class. Half would want you to burn in hell forever, and the other half wouldn't really care. But nowadays, pretty much every single time a sniper top scores, there's always one guy that says something like, such a fun class, or nice hacks, or sniper be a balanced class challenge, impossible, or
F1, he has 100,000 kills on his sniper rifle. Go outside and do literally anything else.
Compare that with the Huntsman. Back then, it was seen as a straight downgrade from the normal sniper rifle that required less skill, and was only used by bad snipers that spammed arrows to try to get lucky headshots. But now, it's the same thing, but people hate the sniper rifle more than the Huntsman, so no one really talks about it anymore. But that stereotype is actually something that I do wonder about. Is mindlessly shooting arrows at head level near crowded areas really the most optimal way of using the Huntsman? Or is this weapon more complex than what most people think? Well, that's what I'm gonna try to figure out, and throughout the course of this video, I'm going to perfectly measure the Huntsman's guac guac level. Now, some of you may not know what that is. It's how much guac guac something has. You know, guac guac? Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and talk about the very basic attributes of the Huntsman. Unlike most weapons in the game, the Huntsman has no damage fall off. This means that you can headshot someone from halfway across the map, and also 3 inches away from your face. And while you can get headshots from close range as a normal sniper too, it's pretty much downright impossible to do so consistently. With the Huntsman though, it's actually pretty easy. Here is the epic Huntsman tip that will make it so that you always get head. Yay! If an enemy is right next to you, then you can get a guaranteed headshot if you line up the black band that's on the view model right here with their head. And as for getting headshots from long range, however, it's the exact same thing as gambling at a casino. Really fun. The best advice that I can give you for long-range shooting is to make sure that your opponent doesn't see you, since it's way easier to predict somebody that doesn't even know you're there. Other than that though, it's mostly up to luck on whether they decide to move where you thought they would. But I will let you in on a little secret. Most of you probably think that the Huntsman's headshot radius is this big. But what if I told you that it's actually this big? You see, the Huntsman doesn't use regular hitboxes to calculate a headshot. Instead, it uses bounding boxes, which are these huge-ass rectangles that surround the entire player model. And this is basically how bounding boxes work. If you shoot an arrow anywhere inside the box, then you're gonna deal damage. Yes, this means that even for spaces where there's literally nothing there, the arrow will magically gravitate itself to the nearest body part and deal damage anyways. And this is the worst part. Every class's bounding box is the exact same size. Now, this is fine for the heavy. He fills up most of his, so it's pretty fair. But then, you look at the engineers, and you see that half of his hurt box is a literal air.
And did I say that was the worst part? I didn't mean it.
This is the heavy's headshot range. It's kind of jank, but it's decently fair. But now, let's go ahead and bring the engineer in here. That is the engineer's headshot range. His head, the air that he breathes, and his secret gigantic forehead.
Hi.
So that's definitely a point to the Huntsman being jank and broken. The fact that your chances of getting headshot change depending on which class you are sucks balls. Why is that a thing? People usually use the Huntsman in one of two ways, either spamming or roaming. Spamming is the easier of the two playstyles. You basically stay behind your team as much as possible and spam arrow after arrow until you finally get that lucky headshot. The main upside to this playstyle is that you will not die a lot, but the main downside is that you picked the Huntsman and you still decided to play like a cornhole sucker. You should die! Look, I'm sorry that I got angry and a little extremely homophobic, but all I'm saying is that you could stay behind your team and get some epic 5-head headshots, right? But at that point, you're just playing a worse version of the sniper. So let me ask you this. Don't you want to be more brave? Don't you want people to think, my boy, you have some fine guac on you? This is how you should play the Huntsman. Every time you see any enemy, charge straight into them and headshot them. If you fail, then you were just bad, and you need to try again. Using this technique, I went from a... Damn it! I missed my shot. What was I supposed to do there? Not be an idiot? Okay, so being hyper-offensive does not work either, for a couple of reasons. First, you don't have enough firepower. If you miss your one arrow, then you're just dead. Secondly, you are still a light class, so 2 rockets and you're dead, 2 melee hits and you're dead, 2 of pretty much anything and you're dead. I was gonna say a third thing, but that's really it. You're too weak and you're too frail. Now you might be asking, why did you talk about both of those playstyles if you think they both suck? Are you an idiot? Yes, I am. Instead, the best way to use the Huntsman is to be extremely annoying. Not annoying enough for you to get doxxed, but annoying enough for people to hope that you get doxxed. This is the epic trick. Most enemies will actively ignore you if they see somebody that they perceive as more of a threat, like a soldier or a demo. So whenever that happens, start shooting arrows at them, fall back to reload, and repeat that until either they die or they start going after you, then you should run. What I'm trying to say is that mid-range is the perfect range for the Huntsman. If you're too far away, then most of your shots will become luck-based. And if you're too close, then you're just gonna die. At mid-range, though, you can pretty easily predict enemy movements and also not die. The next thing that I want to talk about is which secondary you should use. So many options. Use either the SMG or the Girardi. Every other secondary is hot, garbage, doo-doo, caca, feces, hot, doo-doo, hot... What? All three of the backpacks are way too passive. You're already playing as a very offensively crippled class, so you need all the power you can get. And the only other secondary is the Cleaner's Carbine. You're not using that. So then, it's the war between these two. And I gotta say, the SMG is the cooler option. Now, I didn't say better, because both of these items are really good. It's just that if you use the Girardi, you're pretty much admitting that you are trash with the Huntsman. The reason I say that being that if you actually do land your shots, the SMG is incredibly useful. You can finish off light classes with one bullet, and it's just a really reliable source of chip damage. The Girardi, though, is also really useful. I would say that you can Girardi somebody and then kill them in one shot if they're a light class, but you're not gonna use it for that. You're gonna splash that Thiang near the payload cart so that your team can whip out their Thiangs and kill everyone. So the SMG puts you more on par with the other classes and makes you more independent. Meanwhile, the Girardi is better for assisting your team, but makes you weaker as an individual. And now, for the final part of the video, I'm going to talk about the Huntsman's biggest counters. The first being
Sniper.
the reason for that being that anything you can do with the Huntsman, the sniper can just do better and faster. For example, let's say you try to shoot at the sniper. By the time you charge up your shot and line up your aim, he's probably had 2 chances to pop your head off. And because of the fact that you're standing completely still charging up your shots,
It seems my head has been detached from my body.
basically, my advice is, if there's a sniper on the other team with 130,000 kills, just start crying. It's over. Do not try.
You should kill yourself now!
But anyways, another flaw is that fighting more than one person is just a death sentence. It's pretty much impossible for you to run away, and you can only shoot your pointy stick every 4 seconds, so you're gonna die. Now that I think about it, I really wish that the Huntsman gave you 25 more health like the Gunslinger does, because as is, this weapon doesn't really excel at anything. As I said before, from far range, this weapon is completely outclassed by the sniper rifle. And from any other range, you can do decently well. The main problem, though, is that you're just too frail. Any amount of pressure, and you just crumble. And look, I personally do not care that this weapon is suboptimal or mid. It's fun, so I like using it. End of story. That being said, this weapon is ass. If I was ranking all the sniper primaries from an objective standpoint, then the Huntsman would be on the bottom tier, alongside the classic. Sorry, buddy. The main reason for this is that hit scan is just better than projectiles. Instead of predicting where someone is gonna go and using these stupid nerd calculations, you can instead just click on somebody and then they die. It's simpler and more effective. But you can be good with the Huntsman. You're just gonna be putting in a hell of a lot of effort and practice. And no matter what, a normal sniper of the same skill level will still be better than you. Since, sorry to say, but you're just outclassed.
When they tell you must like it,
You think I know?
get that feeling and get shaky.
It's so low.
So you know what? I'll admit it. I am sexually attracted to the Huntsman. I'm sorry, but Team Fortress 2 just has a habit of making their weapons very attractive.